And we welcome you back to our program. Yesterday was the regular monthly meeting of your Golden Rain Foundation, and Mr. Lloyd Foster joins us today, Golden Rain President. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You had about a 3.5-hour meeting in the morning and then more meetings in the afternoon,
Right.
So a long day for our Golden Rain Board yesterday.
It was a long day.
Right. Well, among the things you discussed, and I guess it maybe sort of dovetails into what all of us are doing right now, tax season. For years, this community was what they considered a 528. Several years ago, with some staff involvement, they changed to a 501c4 tax exempt
Correct.
for Golden Rain Foundation. Decision has now been made to change back to a 528 homeowners association. Without getting totally technical, why that decision and what it's going to do for the residents?
Well, the decision basically was out of our hands. The Internal Revenue Service has been looking into gated communities and 501c4s for a while, and they determined that we did not meet the criteria to be a 501c4. Therefore, they sent us a 30-day notification letter revoking our status as a 501c4 and converting us to a 528. There's maybe some advantages to that. The biggest disadvantage, of course, is now we have to pay taxes after 14 years. Mm-hmm. So
is it retroactive?
No,
catch
it
up?
is,
Okay.
it is not retroactive. They agreed to go back to January 1, 2012. Going forward, we would be a Section 528. Mm-hmm. They could have gone retroactive on us. In fact, one of the alternatives, if we wanted to stay at 501c4, we had to pay the estimated tax that would have been due for 5 years and then appeal it. And if we won, then we would get our money back. But the chances of winning were less than 50%. It was down around 35 or so, 40%.
Yeah.
So obviously we had, while we had a choice, we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
So the prudent thing to do was to take the 528, which we did.
And again, without a retroactive penalty, so
That's
that was
right.
maybe the least painful way to do this.
Yes.
Part of the discussion dealt with the subject of access to common areas in the community. What's that impact and what's that's going to mean?
As far as we're concerned, when we were a 501c4, we had to more or less open up our gates to public access. As a 528, we don't have to. We can tighten up our community access, which is what everybody wants in the first place.
There seemed to be quite a bit of discussion on that during the security portion of the program yesterday.
There was. So in that respect, it's in our favor. It helps us accomplish that goal.
Right.
Now all we have to do is come up with a plan to implement it.
Some folks are having some concerns about the students that come here from surrounding communities taking the emeritus classes, which are provided by the college. They provide the instructors and the classes here at Laguna Woods. The community provides the facilities, whether it's Clubhouse 4 or local church or whatever it might be. Somebody provides that facility for the college. Because it is a public institution, Saddleback College, people that don't live in the village have access to those classes. Will this impact that at all?
No, it won't. What will impact it, of course, is the state budget.
Yeah.
They almost pulled the program last year.
Yeah.
This year, I think that they probably will pull the program unless they come up with some extra funding somewhere.
Yeah.
If they do pull the program, we can still do emeritus programs in-house.
Right.
We've got plenty of qualified residents that can teach the courses, and the users, of course, would pay for supplies and the teacher and all that. Similar to what they do now, except the college district pays for the teacher.
Right. Actually, we had the chancellor on last week, and off air, he said that we, the district, still make a commitment to emeritus. So at this point, they're going to continue as if they can, and they plan to for the future on that. Well, we mentioned security, and one of the things that came up was in Ray Gross's report, who chairs your Security and Community Access Committee, talking about bringing on an additional staff person, specifically a person known as a traffic specialist, also providing them with, of course, the salary benefits and a vehicle. to do their job with. Purpose of that position and the board's final disposition on that.
Well, the final disposition was that the motion failed. We're not bringing on a traffic specialist, and we're not buying another vehicle. The big argument there seemed to center around what this person would be doing. Traffic specialist normally is just what it means. They take care of traffic, they write tickets, notices of violation, etc., for breaking the various rules. And the board felt that this was not the time to bring a person on to do basically that. Although they do other duties.
Yeah.
You know, when a resident calls for an assistance of some type, whatever it may be, you know, one of the officers that's on patrol goes out and takes an incident report and finds out what's going on.
Right. Each month, Mr. Gross reports on such things as people running traffic lights, running stop signs and those kinds of things, excessive speed. And obviously the concern is there that someone's going to get hit or killed by one of the cars running a stop sign. Right. So enforcement, we still see that going on. Golden Rain has now taken over the main streets. So Mr. Gross and his committee now will be the judge and jury, I guess, on people driving on the main streets. The mutuals will still handle the cul-de-sac infringements.
Correct.
All right, that's good. We talked about vehicles, and you're not going to buy that one new vehicle because you're not going to hire that individual. But one suggestion was made yesterday as far as our transportation system here, that instead of the good-sized buses that we have now, we go to the, you know, the smaller, 10, 12 passenger van type things, or maybe one of these Sprinter type of things that Mercedes makes. And there was a good explanation done by chairman on that one, Mr. Hammer, on why we need the larger buses here.
Well, part of that whole issue is the buses that we get are, for the most part, covered under grants. And grants write specific specifications in order to get the grant. The buses we are using fills that criteria.
Right.
Now, I know our sister community up in Northern California at Walnut Creek, they use a smaller bus. But they do not use ramps on their bus for the handicap or those that...
Access, they don't have the access requirements, or at least they don't meet them.
No, they don't cater, I shouldn't say that, but they don't cater to those that need assistance getting in and out of a bus that needs a ramp.
So the ramp and the tie-downs for wheelchairs and those kinds of things are required in this community. And as was pointed out yesterday, you never know who's going to be at that bus stop.
Yeah.
So you have to be prepared to handle wheelchair, ramp, assistance, whatever it might be. And you may not need it this trip, but you might need it next trip. So having a smaller van that wasn't wheelchair compatible, wasn't ramped, would be a problem because you'd have to send something else out to deal with those people.
They do use buses similar to OCTA with the lift on them to accomplish that.
Yeah.
But it's a separate, kind of like an on-call bus just for that purpose.
Right. So the community is going to get some new buses, and we're all today concerned about our mileage in our cars, and people are trying to get 30 plus and looking at down the road 50, the government saying they want us to get 50 miles per gallon in our passenger cars. It was interesting, it was stated by Mr. Hammer yesterday that the old buses, that's the ones with the picture of the golf ball and the tennis ball on the side, are about 4-point-something miles per gallon. And the new buses are much better. They get 7.
They get 7.
Yeah, so that's a real issue there. We're about out of time. A couple other things that are of interest that you would want to bring up to the folks?
Yes. This month starts the budget kickoff for GRF, and almost weekly we're reviewing capital plan expenditures for 2013. And if you're interested in having input in that, I encourage you to attend one of those meetings.
Good, good.
The next one is April 5th, which is the Vehicle and Mobility Committee, which deals with the vehicles and equipment.
Yep.
And they have a projected list totaling almost $1 million in vehicles and equipment. So
They talked about some new truck that was purchased that is used to actually move the mowing machines around, but it also could be used in case of a bus breakdown.
Right.
So that would save a couple $100 for a tow truck each time that happens.
I think a tow truck used to run us about $240 or something like that. And now we can send this truck out with the trailer and pick them up ourselves, and if it's warranty work, we can put it on a trailer and take it up to Chino or whoever the vendor is and get the warranty work done.
Right, and I know that's a real commitment on the part of the transportation department here. You know, if they have a choice of working on a bus or some car, the bus gets priority treatment. It gets worked on first. That's so important to our residents.
Correct.
If you folks missed that meeting, you can catch a replay tomorrow, Thursday, here on Channel 6 at 1:30. And of course, you'll be back with us next month with another report and another meeting. In the interim, lots of committee meetings. People can attend those and get a jump on this budget process.
Correct.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. Good
Thank
to have you
you
with us today. Mr. Lloyd Foster, your Golden Rain president. Again, catch a replay tomorrow at 1:30 here on Channel 6 if you missed that meeting yesterday of the Golden Rain Foundation. We'll be back with more guests as our program continues for Wednesday.